I wish we were still able to interact like we used to. It sucks to get so much praise from the internet and not be able to like really connect with those people in real life.
Ghost Coat Magazine is pleased to welcome in JT from ERRA. How are you?
Fantastic. Happy
Fantastic.
Friday.
Happy Friday, man. Isn't there been very few bad Fridays in my entire life? They're all pretty much good Fridays. No religious implications mentioned, but or needed. But like, yeah, always Friday is just Friday, no matter what your station in life is. Let's
It's
have some
uh
fun.
it's Elden Ring release day, so it's a good day.
Yo, everybody's talking about this game. If I started going back to gaming, I would never leave the house again. So I have to be careful.
We're still there.
We're still there. Indeed, that's it. They're gonna pry me off of this seat with a spatula
Yeah, good
and
luck. I'm still here.
some lard, some Crisco, like some lube to get me out. That's how the sound is gonna be when I'll be melted to the couch or the seat.
New chair, so
Nice.
not worried about that.
Yeah, I used to do Warcraft and Diablo. I love the
Oh
Blizzard
God.
games and
Yeah,
Diablo
I
especially,
have
but
10 years
Warcraft.
in Blizzard games for sure.
Yeah, man. It's I had to eventually just be like, I got to make a decision
Well,
if I'm going to work on my career and
yeah.
Ghost Cult or if I'm going to game.
I
So
don't know what happened, but I got to a point where I was like, I was playing like mental gymnastics with myself. It was like, well, I just spent 4 hours on this game. Do I spend another four? Or do I stop beating myself up about it, or do I like be an adult and realize that I could probably be doing anything else with my time? But it's a hard habit to break when you really enjoy
all right, we'll be looking out for your online review of the game. Everybody's raving.
it.
Like anybody I know that's into it is like,
Yeah.
like so into it. So that's cool. We need something to distract us. The world is on fire.
Hmm.
As you and I talked about offline, this is a really terrible time in the world. I sincerely hope you and the band and all your family and friends are as okay as can be.
Yeah, we're
We've all
fine.
lost a lot. I hope you guys are all right.
Yeah, it's been tough for everyone, and struggles still continue, but we're hanging in there. We do what we can.
Right on. And struggle's a good place to start this interview about the record. So it's a year out, just about, from the ERRA self-titled.
Hmm.
Um, well acclaimed. We dug it. A lot of people are digging it. Fans responded heavily to it. But in the middle, releasing music in the middle of this disaster, nightmare, pandemic had to be tough.
Hmm.
Speaking of struggles, and the album deals with struggles, both existential and internal. So I kind
Sure.
of wanted to start talking about that as a place like there was a funny quote in the press notes about like, metalcore is always so optimistic. And I always think of ERRA as much more than just a metalcore band to me, but transcending that genre a little bit even. But yeah, to put your feelings, real sincere feelings, on the front line,
Hmm.
whether it's lyrics or songs or meanings of albums, is not easy.
Right.
It's a bold move. I know that, like, show your vulnerability. Metalcore has always had that kind of like, so like sort of one toe into emo. It's hard, and I think it's hard. Modern men even are not really equipped to show emotion or be as sensitive, or at least that's how we're told we're supposed to be. I don't know if that's
I
true.
think
I don't.
we're equipped, but I mean, we're capable. We just need to be taught better.
Nice. I agree. Yeah, that's probably equipped is probably not fair.
Yeah.
Well, I meet so many emotionally stunted people,
Ill-equipped. Yeah.
ill-equipped. I meet many ill-equipped people across the world, and that's also because of the internet is
Hmm.
definitely degrades you personally, ruins you a little bit, erodes you. But yeah, man, it's hard. Talk about just putting these concepts out in the world and how it's been for you.
Yeah. I mean, nobody knows how to really plan for a pandemic. It's kind of interesting to think about that. Everybody's getting this like from a first person's perspective. Like nobody's ever dealt with this before. I mean, maybe they have in some regards, but like I'm pretty sure universally like it's fresh territory for most people. So planning for it's tough. Like there was a point in the pandemic where I didn't know if I was ever going to be a musician ever again. Like I had thoughts to myself where I was like, do I need to start planning for a career change or like plan B? Because like I don't know what this is going to be like in a couple months, a year, 2 years, and here we are 2 years later, and it's still happening. I mean, we finished the record in the studio like March 6th of 2020, which was like just when the pandemic started. We actually got it in just in time. There was no delays on the recording, just on the release. But yeah, we're still doing it, and we're here. I
Right
don't
on. And
know.
now, right, and now we have
Not really much to say because there's not much you can do and just try to get by.
yeah, of course, and but I'm still plugged into this record, and like I said, I've had a chance to kind of like refresh myself on the record. Plus, we have the deluxe edition coming out, which
Hmm.
I think is super cool with some really
Thank
awesome
you.
tracks and covers and reimaginings, which is really cool. And fans love that stuff, but also it's a really cool way to just get to sort of relive the material again. Music has never been so available in our whole life. I'm not sure it's the best. I'm glad that the
Hmm.
awareness is out there for everybody, because my personal mission in life is to help promote bands and be a music guy. But, at the same time, maybe you don't want your stuff to be, if it's meaningful to you, you certainly don't want it to feel disposable,
Right.
especially when it's meaningful, like
Hmm.
this record.
Yeah, I mean, I would never want to feel like I'm trying to gatekeep anybody else's availability for their art getting out. So, I mean, the internet's a great way to. There's so many great free tools to promote stuff you do and stuff you love. And obviously, the inverse is also available. There's a lot of availability for ill or for foul play. Navigating can be a fun beast at sometimes, but I think all in all, it's for the good. People have had to adapt to the change of streaming from physical to streaming being more popular, and what that's like being an artist during this time period. Weirdly enough, I don't really have much experience in anything prior, so like, you know, this is kind of all I know at this point. But yeah.
Right. I was going to ask if you were the Bandcamp. I'm sorry, if you were the BearShare LimeWire age. You might just
Oh,
be.
for sure. I mean, I meant more as a regard of like being a musician during it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I not to open up a whole can of worms and put you on the spot, because that's not what I do. But I will say, in hindsight, now going back 20 plus years, that Lars was right. Maybe they didn't do it right, because I would never,
Oh, he was
threaten.
definitely right.
I would never threaten my fans. That would be horrible. I think that's horrible. They should not have done that. In hindsight, that's the mistake they made. But everything else, Lars Ulrich, you were right, dude. He really
Yeah.
predicted everything.
And to give him credit, it's not like we wanted it to play out this way. It's just like it was inevitable with the change of landscape and the availability and technology. Like, yes, maybe it could potentially be making a lot more money. But at the end of the day, I like this availability. Like, I like using it from a user's based perspective. Like, I have so much availability to music, so it's really hard to get mad at something I use every day and I actually love. I just got to adapt to it.
Same. And I love Spotify, and I use Spotify. I
Hmm.
recognize that I don't use Spotify so my bands get paid. I go to Bandcamp, and I go to the band's websites, and I go to the record labels and
Yeah.
pay. And the record store is my favorite thing. I go to the
Hmm.
record store and I pay the bands that way. That's how I support with my dollars. As much free music is available to me as a journalist. I will also say that I always say, as much as you want to hate on Spotify, question the record labels, because just like we just talked about, you can't play a video game in full before it comes out. You can't
Hmm.
go see Spider-Man before it's in the movies, basically, unless you're a reviewer. And you
Yeah.
can't go see a painting in a museum on the wall until they hang it. And I
Hmm.
don't know why the record industry collectively decided, let's just give it away. Let's just give it all away free. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
well, it's not
Spotify could
free.
pay their artists more too. That
They
that would that
sure
would help.
could, man. If you could pay Joe Rogan, nothing, whatever with him, but like if you could pay him $100 million to keep his podcast, to gatekeep his podcast for your listeners, you could pay everybody. You
Yeah.
really could pay everybody. But like whatever, we're not gonna. You and I will not fix that today. And everybody go to ERRA's website, go to their record label, go to their Bandcamp if you got one, and go buy your stuff. Go
Yeah.
buy it there, please. Go buy the deluxe edition, because it's worth owning with these dope extra tracks. So yeah, you and I trying to save the world. Nobody, the superhero duo no one asked for, JT and Keefe. But sorry everybody. It's Friday and I'm way hopped up on coffee. It's early out here out west. So yeah, man. Again, like I said, had a really good time spending time again with this record, and I think it's really got again has a real lasting effect. And like I said, we already talked about kind of themes and emotions and putting them out on the front line. Now that you've spent some time with it, and you haven't, I don't think you guys have toured a ton, if
Hmm.
any,
We did
because
one.
a little bit, right? What was it like getting out there on the road initially and putting, adding these songs to the set list and kind of, this is a lot more raw era than I think
Hmm.
ever before personally.
Of course, we were excited to play. We're always excited to play new songs. I mean, this record we're especially proud of, and I feel like this is our best work. A lot of our fans seem to agree. So there was that pressure. There was also the added pressure for me introducing a lot of more singing, what everybody calls clean vocals. And while I've been screaming for a good 10 years now, adding a new element to the set where the standard is kind of set prior is tough because I have really high expectations for myself and a high standard for myself, and I think our fans kind of feel the same way. So getting over that anxiety and having some confidence in a skill set that I'm not used to was pretty tough. But the tour went really well. We did have to postpone a couple shows that got rescheduled, but all in all, it's definitely possible to tour through a pandemic. Uh, the
Right on.
only the only thing that I wish was different is I wish we were still able to interact like we used to. It sucks to get so much praise from the internet and not be able to like really connect with those people in real life. I say this all the time and it's corny, but we really do we do it for the fans. Like, but in more of that a way, we want to be we want them to remember that like we want to be connected with them and we're regular people. We'll go to the merch table and hear your story and talk to you about the music and sign whatever you want. And we really can't do that right now, which is a huge bummer.
Indeed, I'm used to doing these interviews in person, shoulder to
Hmm.
shoulder. When I lived in Brooklyn, man, I was out 5 nights a week, at shows and rubbing shoulders and drinking
Yeah.
beers and, and all that. And this, it's a little bit less out here, but yeah, it's a bummer. And selfishly, and I'm going to be selfish for a second. I counted the days. It was like 511 days I went between shows, and there's
Damn.
a lot of people lost, man, lost lives, lost loved ones,
Yeah.
careers, jobs. I'm not trying to say that my personal pain about my music life over, rules anybody else's suffering at all, because we've done a lot, to
Yeah.
try to keep that in check and keep
Yeah.
it grounded. But I was out like again, I went to like thousands of shows in a row, weeks in a row with never had a week off, and then just nothing for a year and a half. And again, bands, for the fans that don't know, really, as we talked about streaming, they really make their money in
Right.
person, at the merch table, VIP, meet and greets, all kinds
Hmm.
of extras that people don't know. And it costs money to go on tour, but you also make all that money back. And if there's no touring, I appreciate the fluidity of the situation with the pandemic and everybody with the streaming, but it's just not the same, right? And especially for a band like you and a front, just a person like you, it's got to be weird to not be in front of people yelling back at you.
I mean, they eventually they were, but yeah, it just we were just sad, man. Like everybody was super depressed. There was so much uncertainty, and there still kind of is to some degree. But I don't know, having a little faith and holding on, and that's really all you can do.
Right on. And I appreciate the, like general positivity. I'm all for it. And I am hopefully optimistic as,
Hmm.
things change, rules change. We're slowly, hopefully getting our lives back and we don't get another curve despite the looming World
Right.
War III. Let's
Yeah.
hope it doesn't happen. But like, we have to live, we have to live. We have to live our
Right.
lives and we have to
To
pursue our,
try.
yeah, we have to pursue our art. You guys double down and continue to work despite the handicap of the situation. We double down on what we do. So like that's what we're all gonna do together is
Hmm.
persevere. As I said, I love these bonus tracks, and I'm sure that a lot of people focused on, Vanish Canvas because just because it's a fantastic, amazing song, and it's got a whole new vibe now in this extra new snappy version, beside the fact that Courtney is incredible in general, and what an incredible pairing it is to have you guys and her. But like, yeah, talk about the new version of this track.
Yeah, there's a section. It's pretty much the bridge of the song near the end where it's like super. It's probably the most like delicate and gentle part of the whole record. And while I feel like that's honestly Jesse's best part. We always wanted a female voice on the record, and I've been friends with Courtney for a long time, so when we're thinking about it for future stuff in the like later of 2020, when we finally knew we were gonna record a little more when we had some free time, I was like, yeah, we should like hit up Courtney, see if she'll do it. So we sent her the song, and she was all about it. She's a good friend of mine, and she likes ERRA a lot, and she's always shown us some love. So really, really grateful to have her on it.
Word. I feel like I've seen Era and Iwabo's last iteration with Courtney and Mike
Texas in
together.
July,
Okay,
which is how I met them.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that's
went to
probably
Europe
it.
with them. I think we both did our European farewell tours together.
Yeah, we might have. Yeah, we might have covered it out there. That's where I'm thinking of it. I was like, where do I? I
Maybe.
know. Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I mean, so I'm so thrilled for them and their
Hmm.
success, and they're blowing up so big. Hopefully, we get the two bands back on the road maybe together. That would be
I
sick.
would love to tour Spirit Box. I
Yeah,
love them.
they're killing it right now. We just ran a review of They're Out with Under Oath, so that's amazing.
Yep.
Um, Doors are opening, but again, not just that. The covers are also on this deluxe album really sick, really beautifully chosen, and really put your own stamp on them. Which few like covers are always fun, right?
Hmm.
Every band starts off as a cover band, as we like to say here, but do you do something different with it? Do you make it yours? So talk about these covers and what you did to make them era style, because I love that you did.
Well, we're back at Atrium Audio most of the time with Grant and Carson. So the sound, since the self title is going to stay pretty punchy and I'd like to say well crafted and consistent with the help of them. They're awesome to work with. They've really brought like a new light out of our music, which is cool. So being in their good hands is nice to think about. We never really like thought of ourselves as a band that did covers. I don't really know what changed. Like in the beginning when I joined, I just never. I don't know if that conversation ever came up or whatever, but we did the Queens of the Stone Age cover for Sumerian, and then I think there was like just a list forming of like potential songs to cover, and it was getting a pretty solid list. I think it got to a point was like we wanted to go back to the studio, but we didn't have enough written for a full EP, so we did a little half and half. It's like 6 songs, and then we decided, well, let's just reissue the self-titled. We're so proud of it. Let's give it an. You said earlier something that it reinforces. This was like let's give it like new attention, or just in case you missed it, kind of thing. It's not like I mean it's cool to just have the deluxe under the belt, but it wasn't like we're just trying to double the self-titled sales. I mean, I'm not gonna be mad about it if that happens, but it's not like trying to be. We're not trying to be sly about it or anything. We're just proud of the work, and yeah, three singles and 3 covers. It'll
I
hold you
love it.
over until we're releasing new stuff
Nice. I
for the
love
next
it.
record.
I love it. I was gonna say I grew up in the era, and no shade because I love the label, but like Roadrunner Records put out like 4 versions of every album.
Really?
Especially like literally every time they put out like a huge hit record, there would be like a new one a year later. I'm not saying it was a cash grab because it wasn't, but it would be like, did you want that live version of Cars from Fear Factory? Here's a live
Oh
version
shit! I have that.
from Snow Corp.
Is
Everybody
that the
had that too.
demanufacture
I,
deluxe?
I want to say it's obsolete
Obsolete, yeah. It's one
because
or the
there's
other.
and then there's a version with Burton and Gary Newman on the Cars cover, which is like because he was in
Wow.
a video. So I don't know, but like I'm not singling them out because I love Roadrunners. I'm a New York guy. That was like our hometown label, basically,
I
outside of
definitely
like
I
punk
definitely bought
labels.
the Kill Switch one.
Killswitch for sure,
Yeah.
Slipknot,
Yeah. Oh
every
yeah.
band had one.
Slipknot Deluxes are good.
Typo, Sepultura, Machine Head,
Hmm.
Life of Agony. Everyone had one, a deluxe, and then there would be like a later one, and a reissue, and a best of, and it's like, okay, we're not trying to do that, and that's before streaming. That was
Yeah.
all '90s and early
We've
aughts.
never done one. We had to do one, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. And again, I'm gonna personally shout out that I love Heresy because I'm a huge
Really?
Nine Inch Nails fan, and I love what you did with the track.
Okay, good.
It's its own thing. It's
Cool.
really its own. It's really its era style. Like I said, I'm gonna throw that out there. Just
Hmm.
go on that hill and die on it. So
Jesse really likes 90s bands, man. I don't know what
word.
it is. I don't know. I mean, I do too. Like I don't know what it is with him, but he's found a way to like cherry pick these like deeper cut songs. Heresy's pretty popular, and I feel like Stockholm Syndrome is popular in its own right, even though it's an older song. But we like to definitely do a fairly one-to-one cover comparison. We're not trying to like we pick these songs because we really like them. We don't want to change a whole lot on them. We just want to put the ERRA kind of stamp on it and kind of do some unexpected curveballs for our fans. We really like when they like the weird shit that we try, so we stand by it.
Weird shit is good. And it
Yeah.
seems like I would say that I think over the period of time, you guys have been a band for quite a while, and you've been in the band for quite a while
Mm-hmm.
now, that the fan base is willing to take this journey with you. And there's no left turn or curveball they won't at least take in and check it out and be open about it,
Right.
which is a gift, man, because fans can be really gnarly and hard on you.
I think we got to a point where our fans do trust us though, which is nice. I've gotten that vibe at least. So I feel better when we make decisions that are kind of like, what's this gonna be like? or
Right
like
on.
or like I don't trust it, but I think the fan base will know that this is different and we're trying something new and they'll appreciate it at least.
Right on. As we wind this down, I want to give you back your day, and I really appreciate hanging out with you. I would like, if you'll permit me, I'd like the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to talk about Unified, because
Sure.
I really admire this label. They put out stuff, it seems like every week or at least monthly. They have fresh new bands. They seem to have their thumb on the pulse of a whole bunch of subgenres. They're
Mm-hmm.
really supportive from here on the journo side. Tell me about your experience with Unified and what they bring to the table with ERRA now.
Well, what's cool is somebody on our team that we're close with is Francesca, who works for Unified, and she came for or actually I don't know if you know this, but they mostly like to go by UNFD.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I'm so used to this. Like,
I'm used to singing it too, but I have
yeah,
to keep reminding myself that they
I
prefer
think
UNFD.
I had an early comp that had like
Mm-hmm.
Unified /
Yeah.
UNFD on it. So that's my bad. Thank
No,
you.
I mean, I get corrected all the time, so I'm trying to like pay it forward.
Word.
But yeah, so she came from EVR, and I worked with
Mm.
her with Text in July. So it's so weird how, you know, I was in a Lancaster metalcore band, left for a couple years, and now I'm back in Lancaster recording with the same people with a different band, working with similar people that I've worked with for the whole time I've been in here. And people have jumped ship to move around, but I'm still seeing the same friendly faces. Unified, I'm more of the member in the band that's like not in the emails. That's more of Jesse and Connor. But what I have noticed is way more attention to us. I don't know if that's the timing of us as a band in general, our music or whatever. To not to discredit Unified, but we're or like we were with Sumerian prior. I didn't see these things from Sumerian, and I'm not trying to like say Sumerian did a terrible job, but we're seeing things from Unified that we always wanted from a team, and they just make us feel more appreciated, and they feel like proud parents, and I have like a desire to like make them happy and please them and keep the nice relationship, so that it feels good. I feel comforted by the team that we have, and I feel encouraged to try what we've been trying and stay on the path, and they'll mother hen us a little bit and keep us in check. It's nice. It's a very healthy relationship.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. As I am
Yeah.
fond of saying, it's the music business, not the music friendship. But if you can have a friendship, that's good. Trademark Cavey.
I do have a problem of trying to be pals with everybody that we meet, because I'm annoying even at times. Like I'm definitely the person that's like, oh, like new friend, and I'm a little overwhelming in that regard, I feel like. But so it's sometimes hard to remember that it is a lot of business relationships, but there's no reason I can't be, friendly and polite the whole time.
Word. Friendly and polite the whole time. That's the metal spirit.
Sure.
JT from ERRA, man, it has been awesome catching up with you. I do hope next time it's in person. ERRA self-titled Deluxe Edition coming out on UNFD March
There we
18th.
go.
You don't mess that up. But thank you so much for hanging out with Ghost Boat
welcome.
and sharing your story, man. I really appreciate you. And
Thanks, Keith.
I can't wait to see you on the road again.
I'll be looking forward to it.